Who knew? Knowledge is something that everybody in here loves to have. We get it from a myriad of different sources. It doesn't matter, and we start, I just saw on Facebook where somebody said, somebody please tell my 2-year-old. They don't have to ask why instead of saying no. We start at a very young age and we go all the way. There are people who are learning till the day that they die. And we have different sources. The first source that we usually go to are people, right? Parents are the most handy. Then there are friends who tell you that Santa Claus no longer exists. And then you learn from television, and you learn from advertisements, and you learn from your mother who shares her favorite recipes. Now, all but 4 of us, 5 of us in here know that Garmin's were invented so that the other 5 members of this group did not have to ask for instructions, right? Several weeks ago, Paul and Cameron and I went to Columbia for TLI. We were talking about how we were going to find the place because we neglected to look for information. Paul said, not a problem, I have my iPhone. Sure enough, they were there. Whoa, I don't know, Mrs. Can we do it here? Turn it over? Yeah. And I finally said, you know, I'm here. We can always stop. You guys don't have to go in. So we get our information from different sources, especially from the people that we do. The next place we go are books. Thank you so much for letting me follow Alice in Wonderland. But we do, and we read the Nancy Drews, and we know how to get clues, and we read magazines, and we read, my favorite book right now is My Life in France by Julia Child, because she is talking about food, she is talking about love, she's talking about joy, she's talking about France. What is there not to love about that? And you are transported to the 40s in Paris and Marseille. It's just an incredible book. My son learned to read at 3, and he has read all the time. And so when he quit asking, why does this go, Mom? Because I would say, go look it up. He starts with something else. When we were going to this TLI, everybody had to go and have to sessions about what office they were in. And I had a very specific question that I wanted to ask because I didn't want to ask anybody here, which was, how do I know where to send off Brian CC? So I had that nicely written down, and that was going to be my first question. But I got there, and there were some even more basic questions, which was, how do we start the meeting on time? It's time for us to start, and you just start. But that took 10 minutes to explain to somebody. So I thought, I'm going to hold on to my question. And the guy who was sitting next to me finally just jumped up, and he held the manual in his hand. He said, read the manual. Everything that you need to know is in the manual. And I thought, oh, when I flipped over, sure enough, there was the address. So we get our information from people, we get our information from books and manuals. This last way that we get information is we're all part of the internet age. My son, who started reading at 3, who reads when he brushes his teeth, came downstairs this summer, and he looked kind of embarrassed. Now, John rarely gets embarrassed because he doesn't often do embarrassing things. I said, son, what's up? He said, I was trying to think of what a word was, and I went over and the internet's down, and it took me 30 seconds to figure out how I was going to find out what this word meant. We have 7 dictionaries in our house, including a dictionary of etymology and a German, French, and Spanish dictionary. And he said, there was even one of them on my desk. And when I finally realized it, I just couldn't believe it. So we get our information through the digital age. Wikipedia has taken the place of World Book. Encarta is now no longer being published because of Wikipedia. Second, if you were to believe Jimmy Wales, He invented Wikipedia in 2001 after sitting in an economics class in Auburn, good school that it is, and thinking that if markets were free, then information should be free as well. Now, if it's true that Larry Sanger, who was at Ohio State at the same time, came up with the same idea and they worked together, then Jimmy Wales got this idea when he was a finance major at the University of Alabama, and therefore it no longer works. Of the internet users now, 3 out of 4 live in North America. 1 out of 5 have their internet usage limited. And I thought, what would limit it? Till you realize that the next statistic, which is 4 out of 5 use their computers at work. There are firewalls, no YouTube, no Facebook, you know. 3 out of the 4 people who actually have the internet use it. And I thought this statistic was extremely strange. I thought, who would have this wealth of information at their fingertips and not use it? Until I remembered my mother, who thinks that she has to pay charter so that she can play solitaire on her Windows machine. My brother and I have told her several times that she doesn't need internet, but she wasn't listening, and we quit telling her because, you know, actually we use the internet when we're at her house, and so it's convenient. In conclusion, we have several ways to research. Friends, books, the internet. We do all of it through our very breath and essence of life as we go through.